When you choose a flag bearer as a political party or a presidential candidate, constitutionally you're also mandated to have a running mate who is called the vice presidential candidate. The NDC, a big political party in Ghana, has chosen a flag bearer and chosen a running mate. The MPP, the party in power, has chosen a flag bearer, but it appears the path to choosing a running mate is becoming more difficult than even the choice of a flag bearer itself, or so it appears. On the Situation Room, we've been anticipating the announcement of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia's running mate. That has not happened, at least not as of the time I'm speaking to you. However, lots of names have been in the speculation about who would be partnering Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia into election 2024. Today, we are focusing on a survey that has been conducted by the organization that was previously called Bureau of National Investigation. In fact, before then, it was called a special branch. My name is Umar Rusanda Amado, and you're welcome to Situation Room on Channel One Television. I am doing this as always and usual with my colleague, my brother, the man who sees the president every day. Sami Wiafe.
Hello, Maru.
How are you, my brother?
I'm well, thank you.
You're enjoying life. You're looking
not.
good. You're smelling good.
To God be the glory.
Hallelujah.
God has been good.
Hallelujah.
That's all I can say.
Is the week looking good?
Yeah, it is.
It was a week that started with a holiday on Monday.
Yeah, it was a long weekend for me.
Yeah, man,
I had a good rest.
I go chew meat. I'm still, my toothpick still in my pocket.
How do you guys, Barka da Salah, right?
Barka da Salah.
Barka da Salah.
I still have toothpick in my pocket.
I think I still need extra. You gave me one this afternoon.
Yeah.
It is nice.
Not meat, toothpick to be removing.
I'm talking about the meat.
Oh, you liked it?
Yes.
Yeah,
I wish you give me another.
Come home.
I will.
There's more. The kanzo is there. Come and enjoy it. So we'll come back. We're going to roll up the conversation here on the Situation Room. Please stay with us. So in my introduction, I told you how the NDC has a flag bearer and a running mate. NPP has a flag bearer, no running mate. What I didn't add is that the NPP has a campaign team. The NDC did not, at least not until yesterday. So on the show today, we're going to tell you who and who have made it to the NDC's national campaign team ahead of election 2024. That will be part of the discussion. But before then, let's talk about the campaign to look for a running mate. There have always been this view that it has to be from the Ashanti region, even though there are people who think the running mate should come from the Greater Accra region. The former Tema West MP has been mentioned. But it appears the biggest contest is from the Ashanti region. There was a time that Brian Champon of the Eastern region was mentioned. So, where is the picture going to, or what is it looking like? Who is going to be the flag bearer running mate based on the empirical evidence on the ground? So the Bureau of National Investigation, now known as the National Investigation Bureau, NIB, has done an investigation, and Sami Wiafe, my colleague, has been pouring through the data, and he's here with me. Sami, so walk us through what the NIB has done. But before then, are they pollsters at NIB?
No, it's something they do on a regular. But this time around, what is different is that their findings is out. Normally, it's not out. It's always kept in secret. And it's given to the authorities that commission them to carry out such surveys. So it happens frequently.
Oh, so they do surveys on different things?
They do all the time. They do all the time.
Okay.
What is different with this is that it's been leaked to the media, and that's what everybody is talking about.
Okay.
But in time past, they have done it. Even during elections, normally it's done to test the popularity of the government, and it's always given to the incumbent government, whether for them to know whether they are winning the election or they are losing. Okay. And so it's something they do frequently.
But they don't do for the opposition. They should do. They are state institution.
No, it's a state institution, but normally it's controlled by the government in power. So those in there, the appointees, the head, everybody is appointed by the government. So it's always done in favor of the government one way or the other. Okay. And it's kept in secret and given to the people who are supposed to implement it. So this is not new. Okay. What is new is, as I told you, is that it's been leaked to the media and it's been done frequently. Okay. So this time around, the MPP is looking for a running mate, if I'll put it that way. You remember Dr. Bawumia was elected in November last year. The expectation was that he was going to appoint a running mate immediately. I wrote an article on this, asking him and putting pressure on why he must select a running mate in all this. Mm-hmm. A lot of people have said that when Dr. Bawumia, was elected or selected as a running mate, it was just 6 months or even 5 months to election, which was in August in 2008. And so there was no rush on him to select a running mate as of now. Now, what the National Security or the Bureau, formerly now National
Just say
Investigative
BNI.
Bureau.
Just say BNI. It's fine. Just say. But
Has done
the big
that.
building at Ridge, we still call it BNI.
There were speculations, and a number of people, the party members were pushing to be selected as running mate to Dr. Mahama Bawumia. And so my information is that they were commissioned to undertake a research so that at least it confirms this speculation and knows the right person, the presidential candidate will select. I can tell an authority that the people who commissioned this thing are the people in government.
Okay.
And they know why they commissioned this particular survey. Okay. Now, it came out. They spoke to 5,116 party delegates.
Okay.
They didn't choose party supporters or party members. These are party delegates made up of constituency executive, national executives, regional executive, electoral coordinators, and polling station executive. The kingmakers of the party were those who were selected. If you look at the MPP album, in total, the MPP has over 180,000, delegates when it comes to election of a flag bearer. But this time they selected only a 5,000, which was the sample size. And these are core members of the MPP who hold positions within the party. And so these were not outsiders who were selected one way or the other. Now, after the finding, the names came up. And this according to the data, they did earlier one in January of this year. And they did this one in June this year. It was a period between the 12th of June to the 14th of June. 2 days to carry out this particular survey. And the findings, according to the document we have, the introduction is here, Sandra, it says, in anticipation of the selection and running mate to Dr. Mahama Bawumia, the MPP presidential candidate of 2024 election, the National Intelligence Bureau conducted a comprehensive nationwide survey from the 12th to the 14th of June 2024. This survey targeted MPP delegates, including national, regional, constituency, and police station executive, utilizing the party's album to ensure a representative sample. The survey polled 5,116 party executives. So the selection was core party members who hold positions within the party. Now, this was the result, or the executive summary of it. It says that Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh, commonly known as NAPO, who currently serves as the Minister of Energy and Member of Parliament for Menchia South, secured 76.2% of the responses from the executive poll, making him the leading candidate for the position of running mate to Dr. Mahama Bawumia. Following him is Dr. Yao Osei Educhum, the Minister of Education and MP for Bosonche constituency, who garnered 10.1% of the responses from the polled executives. Other notable personalities the delegates consider potential running mates included Apostle Opoku Onyina, the former chairman of the Church of Pentecost, Dr. Brian Echampo, the Minister of Food and Agriculture MP for Ebitifi. So, Sandra, if you look at the names here, these are names which has been in the media for a long while. Since the flag bearer was elected in November last year, these names have been, bundled about in the media, left, right, center. And so the National Security or the Bureau of National wanted to really do the poll to know that who indeed is popular within the party.
Let's just take the percentage. Okay, so you have it here. Okay.
Okay, so the percentage is here, Sandra. So after the survey, the preferred running mate, Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh, NAPO as they call him, 76.27 or 76.27%.
No, 27, yeah.
27%. Preferred him to be the running mate for the MPP and for Dr. Mahama Bawumia.
That's more than comfortable lead.
Very, very, very comfortable going into the December election. So the 5,000 people who were sampled, majority of them preferred Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh to be Dr. Bawumia's running mate. Dr. Yao Osei Educhum had only 10.16%. The others, according to the research, were other names people mentioned. And so they sampled all together and gave us the 4 points.
And these names include?
And these names included Natoshi.
So Natoshi is not even fit to be on her own?
Not at all.
Interesting.
Not at all. So these are names. And then Oseche Mensah's name also came up. A number of people also wanted him to be a running mate. Before his appointment as the chairman of the manifesto committee, there were speculations that he was going to be Dr. Bawumia's running mate. And then Fremont Osei, the chief of staff, who was also in there. And then Joe Osei Joe Wise was also being considered by many of these delegates as a potential individual who could partner Dr. Bawumia. But then at the end of the survey, 76.27% preferred Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh to be the running mate to Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. And then it gives us a general overview of how this whole survey, went through. It said best pair for the flag bearer. 84% preferred Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh and 16% prefer Dr. Yao Osei Educhum. Umaru, interestingly, these two people have a working relationship. Remember when Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh in the first term of the Akufo-Addo government was the Minister of Energy, Dr. Osei Educhum was the Deputy Minister of Education. And so the two of them have a working relation. Perceived party choice. Now, 88% believe that Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh should be the best person to partner Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia in the election of December. The preferred gender of a running mate, majority of them, which is 94%, preferred a male to be the running mate, unlike the NDC, which had a female. A lot of people within the MPP were also pushing for a possibility to also have a female running mate for Dr. Bawumia. But the survey revealed that majority of the MPP executive do not believe a female should be a running mate to Dr. Bawumia, rather a male. And they accepted for any running mate, 89% prefer that Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh becomes a running mate for Dr.
So 89% are saying that if you choose anybody else, we will not accept.
We will not accept.
We only want
NAPO.
NAPO or the highway.
Yes.
NAPO. And
then, Maru, it also gives us, I think it's the same, it's a repetition of it. And then, among the two leading top aspirants for the position, 38.8% of the constituency executive identified Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh as their preferred or preference for Dr. Bawumia for the 2024 general election. Additionally, 32.6% of police station executives preferred Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh. So there was a general breakdown of the individuals who were selected. So the constituency executives had their choice, regional executives had their choice, police station executives also had their choice, national executives, and the rest. And then the preferred region for the running mates. Umaru, if you look at this, 92% of the individual sample prefer someone who comes from the Ashanti region. And NAPO is from the Ashanti region. He's a member of parliament for the Menchia South constituency and known to be a popular figure within the MPP. Majority of these individuals believe that getting a running mate for the Ashanti region is the MPP's best bet. Now, I've been speaking to a lot of these people, and the analysis they give me is that, Umaru, the MPP is wishing to break the 8 into the December election. The first time a political party in Ghana will want to break such a mark. And that if they should get at least between 75 to 80% of MPP supporters in the Ashanti region to come out in their numbers to vote in December, the party is likely to win the election. The more reason why they must select someone who is very popular from the Ashanti region who can secure that vote that the party wants. If you remember in 2008, the MPP nearly won the election with just two regions, the Ashanti region and the Eastern region. After the election, there was a research that was conducted into why the MPP couldn't make the mark. And it revealed that over 500,000 MPP members did not vote in the Ashanti region, did not vote in that election. So if they had, it means the MPP would have won the election straight up. And Akufo-Addo would have been the president as of 2008. But for 10, then people would have won that election. But then they believe that if they should get between 75 and 80% of the total vote in the Ashanti region, the MPP has a very high chance of winning the election. The more reason why they will prefer someone who is very, very popular in the Ashanti region. And they say NAPO is popular. Within the Ashanti mark or the Ashanti region, popularity counts a lot. And especially they use the nicknames. Someone like Wuntumi. A lot of people don't know his real name. They know the Wuntumi. Yeah. Someone like NAPO, people prefer to call him NAPO than Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh. And so they want to relate to the individual on one-on-one basis, And so the popularity in that area is very, very key for them. So preferring or getting someone from the Ashanti region is a big chance for them to be able to break the 8 for the MPP into the December election. Now, the Eastern region also had just 1.84, and the other regions follow. But then, majority of them prefer that the running mate should come from the Ashanti region, Ashanti region is a stronghold of the MPP. Get somebody who's very popular in the Ashanti region. And another key is that NAPO's popularity in the Ashanti region keeps soaring every day. He's known to be a giver. And in politics, someone who gives is more regarded as someone who indeed can win vote for the MPP. And they believe that getting NAPO from the Ashanti region to partner Dr. Bawumia will help the MPP break the 8 if they want to. And the conclusion says that Dr. Matthew Opoku-Prempeh is highly preferred as the best pair to Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia due to his popularity and strong connection with the grassroots of the party. Popularity here, as I mentioned, he's a very popular figure within the Ashanti region. If you mention NAPO, almost everybody will know who he is, and so they may want to identify with him. And a strong connection with the grassroots of the party. NAPO is the go-to person in the Ashanti region if the party wants to organize any major event in the region. Because of his generosity, as a lot of people say, and his giving attitude, a lot of people may go to him for party activities and the rest. Now he says his nomination for the position of running mate resonates well with the grassroots. This will potentially foster party unity, essential for enhancing Dr. Bawumia's chances. Unity here is very important. Remember in 2008, there were a lot of divisions within the party. The more reason why the MPP couldn't win in that election. Now the Ashanti region is backing Dr. Matthew Opoku-Prempeh. And so if he's the unifier for the people in the region, the party will, one way or the other, get the needed votes to push in to win the election of December. This conclusion also reinforced the earlier survey conducted by the NIB in January. As I told you, there was an earlier one in January, which same survey also projected Dr. Matthew Opoku-Prempeh as the preferred choice to Dr. Bawumia. It says, given Dr. Prempeh's current role as the Minister of Energy, the ongoing power crisis in Ghana could impact his candidacy. Remember that he's doing so. He was in Parliament yesterday. The lot of answers he gave were not satisfying to his colleague members of Parliament and some people who have, criticized him how he has handled this doom so one way or the other. And so the NIB is advising that, therefore, the government may need to implement necessary measures to solidify his competence in managing the energy sector, thereby enhancing the party's prospects in the December election. Now, it is advising the party on what to do for NAPO's popularity and what will help him to be the best choice. Umaru, this table here gives a total breakdown on how the various sample size voted, more or less voted, and their choice. Now, when it comes to the constituency executives, 36.20% preferred Dr. Matthew Opoku-Prempeh. The same constituency executive, only 4.09% preferred Dr. Yaw Osei Educhum. The same constituency executive, 1.8% for Oseche Mensah-Bonsu, Fremo Osei Pari, 0.96%, Joe Osei Usu, 0.86%. Electoral area coordinators, 3.52% preferred Dr. Matthew Opoku-Prempeh, 0.49% preferred Dr. Yaw Osei Educhum.
Don't do the rest. Don't do the rest. Just do the top two.
So when you look at the founding members or Council of Elders, 1.64% preferred Dr. Matthew Opoku-Prempeh, 0.29% preferred Dr. Osei Educhum. MMDCs and members of parliament. These are colleague members of parliament. Mm-hmm. The two leading contenders are all members of parliament, if you know. Yeah. And so colleagues, members of parliament and MMDs, 1.95% prefer Dr. Matthew Opoku-Prempeh, just 0.25% wants Dr. Yaw Osei Educhum. Among the national executives, which is the national chairman, general secretary, and the rest, 0.02% prefer Dr. Matthew Opoku-Prempeh. And surprisingly, 0.00%, none of the national executives wants Dr. Yaw Osei Educhum to be the running mate. And then the polling station executives, I call them the kingmakers of the party. Now, 32.60% prefer Dr. Matthew Opoku-Prempeh, and just 5% prefer Dr. Yaw Osei Educhum as the running mate. And then the regional executives, 0.33% prefer Dr. Matthew Opoku-Prempeh or NAPO, and just 0.04% prefer. And then the total is there. 76.27% want Dr. Matthew Opoku-Prempeh to be Dr. Bawumia's running mate, and just 10.16% want Dr. Yaw Osei Educhum. So that is Omari.
Okay.
The survey, comes out that Dr. Matthew Pokupembe is the preferred choice among the party members, the party grassroots, the kingmakers to partner Dr. Bawumia in December.
This is the Situation Room on Channel One Television. My name is Umaru Sandamado. I'm doing this with Sami Wiafe. So you've seen what the National Investigative Bureau or Intelligence Bureau, NIB, has come up with, having done a research or conducted a research among NPP members, finding out who they would prefer to be the running mate of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. We'll be going to Dennis Miracles Abuaji. He's with the Dr. Bawumia campaign team in a bit to ask him if they also prefer him. And then we'll go to Joseph Yamin. He's national organizer of the NDC. He's deputy coordinator of the campaign in charge of regional campaigns. They outdoored their campaign team yesterday. Those are the two things we'll be doing when we come back. Please stay with us. You're welcome back. This is the Situation Room on Channel One Television. We are broadcasting from number 5 Oula Hansen Lane at Tesano in Accra. So we've seen the survey that Sami has just shared with us, which survey was conducted by the Bureau of Investigations, or let me just call it BNI. You remember them? Bureau of National Investigation. They've changed the name upside down. It sounds like a bank now. Sami, who do we have on the line?
Dennis Miracles Abuaji. He's the Director of Communications for the Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia campaign team.
Okay.
You know, we'll speak to him
I think he's here. You can go
in respect of this particular survey and Dr. Bawumia's recent campaign tour across the country. You know, he did all 16 regions. Yeah. He's done with it. We'll also get some perspective from him as far as this whole campaign. Dennis, thank you very much for your time. Welcome to the Situation Room.
Sorry, thank you for having me.
First of all, I'm sure you've seen this survey by the NIB, which says that grassroots members of the party, the kingmakers of the party, prefer Dr. Matthew Pokupembe to partner your boss in the December election.
So, first of all, I haven't seen any report from the NIB. I've seen a PDF document shared on WhatsApp, which some media houses have decided to pick it up and discuss, which is good because all these excitement and expectations around the naming of the running mates is all part of the euphoria and the energy being built in the party. So I think it's important that we put it on record that it's a very hypothetical discussion or conversation you are having because there's no body from the NIB that has told you emphatically that this document is from them. As far as we are concerned as a campaign, we haven't received any such report or document from the NIB. And I am sure that if there is any such document, the NIB would have shared a copy with us for us to know. So let's put that on record. That is very hypothetical. This is a document that can be generated from anybody or from anywhere. And we haven't received any such document or report from the NIB. And I'm sure that if it's such a valid document, Dr. Bawumia will be the first person to receive a copy.
Fair enough. But then many have also asked that why the delay in the naming of the running mate? Your flag bearer was elected in November last year. It's been over 5 to 6 months. We are getting closer to the December election. Why has he not selected a running mate yet?
First of all, we have our campaign strategy. We have our campaign calendar. And per strategy and a calendar, and anybody that has followed the MPP, you realize that it's not due yet for us to name our running mates. Per calendar, it's not time yet. And so we are sticking to our campaign strategy and sticking to our campaign calendar. Once it's due, he will be named. I mean, but you refer to being elected in November. Our opponent was elected May 2023. It took him 1 whole year before he nominated his running mate. And I didn't see this concern about delay. There's no delay. We haven't gone past our timeline. We haven't gone past our calendar. We are very well within schedule and we are rolling out systematically.
I heard your vice chair of the party, the vice chair of the campaign, which is Nana Komia, say that he will mention name his running mate in June of this year or this month, June. Is this still on point? Is it going to be June this year, as he mentioned, or another date?
The running mate nomination can be today, it can be tomorrow, it can be a day after tomorrow.
For Nana Kumia was emphatic. He said June of this year.
It can be any day. It can be beyond June. It can be beyond July. Ultimately, the decision lies with the flag bearer and the National Council. Remember, there is nothing like he's going to name, because there's a process within our party. When the calendar is due or the time is due for Dr. Bawumia to nominate, it will not be to the media first. It will be first to the National Council, where he would mention who he's nominating as his running mate for National Council to ratify or, raise concerns or otherwise. National Council is a very large group of people. And so you can be rest assured that once it goes to the National Council, even before a formal announcement, everybody would get to hear. But I can tell you that we are well within our timelines. We are well within our calendar. This is not an election. And so I find it very interesting when I see all these surveys and all these conversations. We like it because it's helping to keep the euphoria around our campaign and our flag bearer and all of that. But trust me, it is not an election. It is a flag bearer's decision to nominate or recommend for the National Council's ratification or otherwise. That individual who he believes, one, will bring on board that very strong political capital. Two, would complement him in the implementation or execution of his vision if he gets to form government the 7th of January 2025. So critical in this conversation really is not how many surveys or how many thousands of people within or without that is saying what. It's about the SWOT that the flag bearer has done on himself, SWOT he's done on his opponent, the SWOT he's done on the party and the opposition party to critically understand what the characteristics or the ingredients of this person he would nominate should be, which is very clear about. In fact, one thing I can tell you in this conversation today is that Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia has always known who he would want to run on an MPP ticket with. He is somebody that spends time to think through a whole process before he gets into it. And so before even November 4th, when we went for the presidential primaries, he's already clear in his mind who, if he becomes the flag bearer, he would love to run with. What is left is for time to be due. Then he will present it to the National Council for then subsequent announcement. But critical in this conversation is that he is looking for that person that would bring the other votes that he is not bringing on board, which is important. That person that would bring the strength to complement his weaknesses as human as we all are, so that we'll have a watertight team in running government post 2024. And so the political capital the person is bringing is crucial. The competencies the person will be bringing to complement his effort is also very, very, very important. But be rest assured, it is not an election. And so all these probably are just things to keep excitement, but they have little to do with what would really influence Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia's decision.
Now, let's talk about campaign. He ended phase 1 of his nationwide tour, and he's expected to do the second phase of it. Let's talk about phase 1 of it. How was the campaigning, the reception, and the message to the people in there?
Sammy, I'm very honest with you. Anybody that followed Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia's campaign in 6 weeks will tell you that he deployed a strategy and a system that is quite unique and is resonating with the people. And that is why today, if you ask any political watcher, they will tell that Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia started campaigning barely 6 weeks ago. He campaigned for 6 weeks, and yet he's taking over the entire election space. He's deployed a very effective and efficient political campaigning strategy and tool, one that we believe is extremely potent. It goes very close to the people. He is engaging the people in their homes, at their shops, in their offices, and in places where it matters most to them. And in all of this, what is even most crucial is that Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is taking the Ghanaian voter on a journey of where we've come from, what we've been able to achieve as a country in the last 7 to 8 years, what the challenges have been, what the successes clearly are, and what the outstanding issues or the things we haven't been able to achieve are. And then finally, he communicates clearly, cogently, what his vision is for every sector by sector. He diagnoses the issues and he professes what he believes his solution would be as a president going into the future to the people. And so the reception has been great. The people are quite convinced that as a country, it is very important for us to get into an election purely electing a leader based on what the issues are, looking at the leadership quality of the person, the credibility of the person, the competencies of the person, the integrity of the person, and most importantly, the person's commitment to the Ghana cause.
All right.
And for him, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, one of the things put out clearly is that I would run again when I finish my first term. And it's one of the reasons why you should trust that when I become president, I would be committed to ensure that I deliver so that I will be able to come back to you for a second term.
And right,
so far,
sure. For want of time, we'll leave the conversation. I'm sure we'll invite you again to the studio for us to talk more about the campaign and the meeting. But before I leave you, Umaru has a question for you.
Not plenty. Why?
Umaru has a question. I couldn't ask all the questions. Umaru has
Dennis, I have one comment and one question. The question before the comment. The question is, you've said that if this report were valid, Dr. Bawumia would have received it. Should we interpret that to mean this report is not valid because it's not been given to Dr. Bawumia?
Of course. I mean, I'll be surprised if... That is why I'm saying that the conversation should be very hypothetical.
Okay.
You are assuming the report is from NIB.
But because NIB has not come to deny it since it came out. Yeah. I mean, they would have come out to say it's not from them.
No, that's not the case. The fact that you are holding a document supposedly coming from me and I haven't come to tell that it's not from me doesn't mean it's valid. That's why I said we can continue to engage the document hypothetically.
Okay.
But we cannot emphatically argue that it's from NIB.
Okay.
Omaru, tomorrow morning I can generate a report. I can generate a report tomorrow morning, PDF, put it together, and
very well. Okay.
You know that.
Yeah, I agree. Now, my comment is, why is your boss's photo not behind you? You have your former boss's photo. You have to put your current boss's photo there. Is this a comment?
Well, you should become a public servant, you understand, please.
Okay. It's fine. Let's leave it there.
It is the commander picture that is hanged in the government offices, not the vice president's picture.
Okay, it's fine. Thank you, sir.
Just take note. In the future, when you become chief of staff to Sami Yafe, you know.
Sami Yafe will not appoint me. But you let's leave it here. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for your time.
So that's Dennis Miracles Abuaji, his director of communication. That's the proper designation
of
the Bawumia campaign team. Now we have to quickly switch to the NDC. And so you and I have to switch again because you have to come back to the screen and talk to us about the NDC. Well, you have a green on your shirt. That's the NDC color. Let's go.
Yesterday, the NDC issued a statement, unveiling its campaign team for the December election. The MPP has done this already, and now it was a turn of the NDC to do that. And it was a statement signed by the General Secretary of the party, Fifi Kwete. And per the statement, Fifi Kwete is going to be the campaign coordinator. The General Secretary of the party is going to be the campaign coordinator for the NDC campaign and the Flag Bearers campaign. In general, the NDC as a political party. What I see in this whole campaign is that there's a blend of party executives involved in this campaign activities, and more or less the party wants to drive the campaign unlike it used to. So Fifi Kwete, General Secretary of the NDC, will be the campaign coordinator for the John Mahama campaign for the December election. And then Joseph Yamin, who is currently the national organizer of the party, will be the deputy campaign coordinator in charge of regional campaigns. Normally in an election, there's always a breakdown. There's always a constituency campaign, the regional campaign, and the rest. For Joseph Yamin, national organizer of the party, he will be in charge of regional campaigns. More or less, he will take charge of all the regional campaigning across the 16 region. And so he will be the main coordinator for the regional campaign, giving out instruction what you are supposed to do in every region.
We'll ask him to give us his terms of reference.
And then
let's quickly go through who else, because since he's on the show, so we'll ask him to talk.
And then there's Richard Kwashiga. He's a former member of parliament for the Keta constituency. He will be deputy campaign coordinator in charge of parliamentary campaigns.
Okay.
Parliamentary campaigns. And then we have Chief Baini, or Chief Hamilton as Baini, who will be a deputy campaign coordinator in charge of special operations. Special operations means, everywhere they send you to go and, do operations there.
You do kata kata.
Aha. And then Sami Jemfi, National Communications Officer, will also be a part of the campaign. So he speaks for the campaign. He speaks for more or less like speaking for the campaign. And then George Opare Ado Pablo is the national youth organizer of the party and also an integral part of the party, because the youth are seen to be one of the key individuals when it comes to winning an election in Ghana. So Pablo has been put in charge of identifying those people. And then there's Dr. Hannah Louisa Hannabisiu Cottage, who happens to be the national women's organizer of the party, a member of the NDC campaign team. And then Alaji Ko Yonga, he's the national Zongo caucus coordinator, what the MPP will call the Nasara coordinator. Yeah. And then Professor Joshua Alabi is the head of the flag bearers campaign. He was in this same role in the 2020 election. The flag bearer or the party gets to appoint him again to, be in charge of the flag bearers campaign. And then there's Joyce Bawa Muktari, already speaks for the flag bearer and maintaining her role in this whole campaign. And then there's Beatrice Annan, our very good friend. She speaks to us on a number of occasions when issues with the flag bearer comes in. She's a deputy spokesperson for the flag bearers campaign. And then there's Alex Segbefia, the head of the running mates campaign. Professor J. Nana, Alex Segbefia is going to run the campaign there. And then there's James Ajeni Mboate.
My mentor in journalism.
It's been a while we saw him or heard from him. Now he takes the role as spokesperson for the running mates campaign. And then Eric Ajay, he's the deputy spokesperson for the running mates campaign. I think that's
so. These are
the key individuals in the campaign as issued in the statement by the General Secretary of the party and the main campaign coordinator.
Great. Let's go to the screens. Joseph Yamin is national organizer of the NDC and also deputy director or deputy coordinator.
Coordinator in charge of regional campaigns.
Joseph, you're welcome.
Thank you, Sandra.
How is the enjoyment? Oh, you're not enjoying?
Enjoyment under Akufo-Addo's government.
Oh, but there's small enjoyment, small one pet, or nothing.
Well, I don't know what you mean by small, but in this context, there's no enjoyment. God has been kind to do his part.
Okay.
But that of the Akufo-Addo Bawumia's administration, the better you don't talk about it.
Explain your role to us, please.
Well, like Sami just outlined, the party per its constitution gives the general secretary the campaign coordinatorship role. So in every election, the campaign is coordinated by the general secretary. Then you have deputies who will be assigned specific roles. The campaign is so wide, so big, that a single individual cannot oversee all these, and for that matter, there will have to be sections allocated to some persons and groups that will fall under these persons. So the structure from 2020 is different from what we have now, same as the personnels who constituted the teams. Then what we currently put out is deputy coordinators, that you have one for special duty, you have one for parliamentary affairs, then you have one for the regional campaigns. That is what is happening. I mean, that's what the party seeks to go into the elections with, a structure like that.
Okay. So your duty will be working with regional executives, I presume. And then Richard Kwashiga would work with parliamentary candidates. And then who is the third person?
Chibani for
Chibani will then
special
work
occasions.
with...
It's,
Okay.
it's not about Kwashiga working. You see, the regional campaigns involves the parliamentary candidates. And so, let me say more or less, my role has some oversight responsibility of Kwashiga's role, but Kwashiga's role will deal directly with the parliamentary candidates, where at certain points, some logistics will have to go to parliamentary candidates specifically. At certain points, you have to be dealing with them on individual basis, groups outside the entire constituency 28 executive structure.
Okay.
And that is why we have a specific and somebody who has been there before, ran elections, he's been a national executive, he's run elections as a parliamentary candidate, and he's been in parliament. And so have some, not basic understanding, but an understanding of what the parliamentary system is. So in terms of specific dealings with them, then he can handle it whilst I take over the whole campaign.
Okay.
As
I noticed you don't have campaign chairman, but you have campaign coordinator, and then you have Professor Joshua Alabi, flag bearer's campaign. Can you marry the two for me? Would there not be conflict or clashes?
Not at all. Like I said, the role of the general secretary as the campaign coordinator, and mostly, probably this is the first time we are announcing, but that's a constitutional clause that the campaign is managed, it's coordinated by the general secretary of our party. You cannot, whoever becomes the general secretary, if tomorrow, fortunately, becomes the general secretary, we can't go into an election without me coordinating the campaign. So it is static, it's there.
Okay.
Then we have Alex Sebefia, who is running the campaign of the running mate. Because the running mate will have a whole campaign structure under her. Then you have the flag bearers campaign structure, which will also be different from that of the running mate.
Okay.
And so you see that we will not be going in the same direction. So the running mate will move from a different angle. The flag bearer will be moving from a different angle. Myself, the national organizer, will be moving from a different angle, where I play two roles, the national organizer plus the deputy campaign coordinator. Probably you saw the national chairman, then general secretary, in 2020, also taking charge of the whole structure of the campaign and moving down.
I was going to ask, so you don't have a campaign chairman. What would be the role of General Mosquito in your campaign?
He is the head of the, if you call it the steering committee, the body that decides how the campaign is to be run, body that the campaign is reported to. So you can say that he is the overall general of the campaign, where the bus stops at his end and his team.
Okay. Let's talk about your opponent's camp. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, he's already named these people. He's been busy working. He just finished a campaign tour. He ended in your region, Ashanti. His campaign director just spoke to us. They said they're shaking the grounds. Are you shaking?
Well, Sanda, you don't know, but sometimes I find it difficult trying to understand certain statements from them. But hey, you can tickle yourself and laugh. But that's not fun. How did they shake Ashanti region when in your last rally you have to bus students in uniform, in order, just to come and see the flag bearer? The easiest thing that any group can organize is getting students to move to a particular environment. And that is what happened. Truly, if you allow them to go in there, The people are not willing to come as they used to be because of disappointment. But if Mahmoud Bawumia enters Ashanti region, the perceived stronghold of the MPP, and you have 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 people moving out to meet him. Is that news? Because His Excellency, the incoming president of the Republic of Ghana 2025, John Dramani Mahama, when the last time he had a program in Ashanti region, we had a walk in January. Did you see the crowd that came out?
But the students were brought to a town hall meeting with the youth. I think they called it the Youth Connect. So that possibly that's why they brought the students who are
But you don't bring senior secondary school. We don't do politics in our second cycle institution. They're
coming to hear Youth Connect, listening to the vice president.
No, you don't. You don't do it. Youth Connect, the people who vote are the ones you want to talk to, are the ones that you want to speak to their conscience. And these people cannot be ordered. I'm talking about students in the tertiary level. You cannot order them. They come voluntarily. And so they knew very well that if they had allowed the TESCON to organize such a forum for them, they may have an empty auditorium. And that's why they will go for the second cycle. And I am still waiting for well-meaning Ghanaians, the ones my former moderator of the Presbyterian Church, Professor Manti, called Anyansafono Omuwahin, to speak. I'm still waiting to hear the Anyansafo speak on this matter, that you have a flag bearer and a political party that will abuse what the structures, the laws of this country are, and move into a certain direction that we don't want to talk about it. Tomorrow, if Yamin decides to be entering the secondary schools as the national organizer of the party and be speaking to the students, you hear them come out to want to speak about it. Why wouldn't they speak today? It is bad. We have a lot of tertiary institutions out there. TESCON has a lot of branches, and the Ashanti region has a number of tertiary institutions around. Why would you want to bring senior secondary school students, and you are not even talking to them about their impending examinations ahead of them? You are rather talking to them about politics. You are also not telling them how bad this economy has become. You are rather giving them false hope. And the only thing you can go around and just be saying is to be lying to the people who are the future leaders of this party. Well, you can continue to do that. But I always say that I have a daughter at the secondary school level. Unfortunately for me, she didn't register because she's not up to age. I'm not like the MPP that will go in there and falsify their documents to get these minors to register. Her time of registering and voting for the NDC will come very soon. But let me say that if my child, my daughter, had registered, bringing her to the auditorium for Mahmoud Bawumia to speak to her wouldn't be a difficulty at all, because she will be following orders of the school. But getting her to go and vote for Mahmoud Bawumia is going to be like climbing Martin Afajato without any scarf around, simply because my daughter will vote based on what I tell her. And I know that a lot of parents who are going through the difficulties of the free secondary school policy, where I have read certain reports, and you can confirm to me, that the educational sector grew by negative 4.9% this year. An educational system that is totally collapsed. If our educational sector was a country, then we can say that it's a failed state. Everything is collapsed. I remember picking my daughter from school the last month, and she pleading with me and some of her mates, pleading with their parents that we should get them ceiling fans because their dormitories are overcrowded, so much heat. And you take your daughter to school or your son to school, and she comes back or he comes back with rashes all over their body. They call you every now and then, send us food to eat because what they are serving us is not food. They call you, and every now and then you have to send something to the school. You know how much parents are paying in terms of extra classes fees. Tomorrow, maybe your daughter or son is not in the secondary school, but let me tell you, when you have, and they go to school 1 month, then they come home for 2 to 3 months. And when you want to have extra classes, you are not sending your child to the organized schools for extra classes. You want to do it in the house. If your daughter or son is doing science, if the teacher is coming to your house, a minimum of 1,000 Ghana cedis, you are paying for a single subject. And so if you are doing science, it's math, English, math, physics, chemistry, biology, add maths, we used to call it, today elective maths. So you are paying 4,000 Ghana cedis in a month. So in 2 months that your son or daughter will be staying in the house, free secondary school requires that the parent coughs 8,000 Ghana cedis just for elective subjects to be able to get your ward, catch up with education. Then you say that these parents who are going through these difficulties that I am going as a parent of a senior high school student, because Mahmoud Bawumia has spoken to them, because it's a free secondary school policy we have bundled around, they'll go and vote for you. No. And so Miracle and his people can tickle themselves and laugh. Bawumia can speak to the people. But I know that parents are ready and telling their kids. I know a lot of parents who energize their kids to go and register simply because they want them to vote against this government come the election 2020.
Just about that notwithstanding, Dr. Bawumia is out there campaigning, engaging the people. When are we going to see you do that kind of thing? The argument from that side is that you don't even have a message. You only have 24-hour economy, and you can't even sell it properly, so you can't even do your campaign. When should we expect you to also go out there?
I don't know. When they say we don't have a policy, but they come and say that it's only 24-hour economic policy we are talking about. Is that not a policy? And when you say we don't have, it brings me back to the 24-hour economy, where some portion of the MPP says that it's not possible. And even Mahmoud Bawumia himself has contradicted himself on several grounds. They say it's not possible, it's not doable, it's not a good policy. But he admits that we are already running a 24-hour system in this country. Something that the MPP will ask you, how are you going to implement it? But they never ask Bawumia, how is the mobile money sector that he says is running 24-hour economy, how is it being run? The MPP have not asked Mahmoud Bawumia the chobas that he claimed runs 24 hours. How do they run it? Because I never seen any choba that I can get free to buy at 8 p.m. in this country. And Mahmoud Bawumia, when he says that there are chobas running 24 hours, MPP is not asking him how is the models like. But when the NDC talks about 24 hours, they say that, tell us how you are going to do it. How is the ones that they are doing it doing? But let me come back to your question. I say that His Excellency John Dramani Mahama ended his nationwide tour as the flag bearer of the party in April. So when they say that we are not seeing now the flag bearer, what do they want to see? What Bawumia is doing today has been completed by His Excellency John Dramani Mahama in May. What he is doing now is engaging groups and getting things put in order. For instance, and the party structures are not the same. The MPP, after electing Mahmoud Bawumia, hurriedly put together a campaign team. The NDC is just put out our campaign team. We cannot be following the same order. So the fact that Mahmoud Bawumia is on the ground touring doesn't mean that the NDC should be on the ground touring. Our campaign is not organized based on what the MPP does. But if it is about moving around the country, those that are saying that what is the NDC doing may not be assessing the situation fairly, because we just finished building the nation's tour. What we are currently going through, and I can tell you that the last time, just about a week ago, we had the zero So our manifesto is ready. Any moment from now, we will be adoring our manifesto and put up there. All these structures doesn't require you moving out there and doing it. The tour brought together what is going to be in the manifesto. We are now gathering all these things put together. The team has now been formed. The structure is now ready. A campaign is going to be launched. Then His Excellency John Dramani Mahama hits the ground with his campaign whilst we move into the election.
Thank you so much, Joseph, for speaking to us. That's Joseph Yamin. He's national organizer of the NDC, and for purpose of the campaign, he's deputy coordinator of the campaign in charge of regional campaigns of the NDC. He was speaking to us there about the campaign launch, or the campaign team of the NDC. Sami, I think we pretty much have the stage set now. We just have to wait to see Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia's running mate, and then the campaign will continue, right?
Yeah, because the two parties look set for the election, with the exception of the running mate, and if that is done, then in December, here we come.
Well, December, here we come, and we have to end the show today. It came to you from number 5 Ola Hansen Lane at Tesano in Accra, ChannelOne Television. My name is Umar Rusanda Amadu, and your name is?
My name is Sami Wiafe.
Thank you so much for joining us and for viewing. We'll be back next week on the same channel.